All right, folks. It is the next morning. Well, it's 11 o'clock. The clothes have been out all day. Let's go outside. Let me get some cord here. All right, it rained a little bit last night, but and it's still like misting or drizzling out here. But I had the shoe, the sock, and the baseball cap tucked up underneath the easement so it wouldn't get rain that much. But the hat, the shoe, the sock. And they're definitely damp and wet. Now I didn't wring this sock out. I soaked it and just set it on the dirt. The shoe's wet. They're wet. So okay, so the article of clothing, the shoe, the sock, the baseball cap that the front of it was like a jean material. We're wet still. So if the girls crossed the river and were found the next morning or afternoon out there, the material would have still been wet or damp. So, but we don't know exactly what the crime scene evidence is because we haven't seen it. They haven't released it. Like I said, we don't know if they crossed the river or not, or if someone made it look like they crossed the river. But if the investigators showed up there and the clothes were damp or wet, uh, and if it didn't rain that night, well, then, yeah, I would say the clothes would still be wet and damp. And that would tell them that they were submerged in water somehow or crossed the river or whatever. If it didn't rain up there that night on February 13th of 2017. But the experiment I ran, I soaked all that stuff with water and just set it out on the dirt out there. And it is 11 o'clock the next day, a.m. And the gym shoes soaking wet, and the sock is, and the hat still. So that would have told the investigators that they definitely did cross the river. We don't know. They never told us that. But if the clothes weren't wet, the socks weren't wet, but yet they found a shoe in the river or whatever, or a sock or whatever they found. Well, then it's possible that they threw it there to go downriver, so they would look for the girls somewhere else, other than where they really were. So, all right, there you go. The Delphi experiment is over. If you want to see it, you can see all I did was wet the stuff and soaked it real good. Didn't wring it out, just soaked it and then threw it on the ground. But I have to go because we got a snowstorm coming in. Yesterday was 50 something degrees. And it didn't start raining until late last night. So, but now the rain is out of here and it's going to be turning to snow. And they're saying 8 to 5 inches. Just what we needed, right? But I am looking on YouTube. I am looking at YouTube for more clues and people that fit that second sketch of the younger person, which I believe I found a couple of these people on YouTube that do match the sketch. You know, there's a reason for that, and that's because could it have been could it have been a YouTuber? Could it have been a group of vanners that were just coming through the van life or whatever, or outdoors people? Could have been. What were these vanners, some of these women involved in some kind of a trafficking thing where the reason they had the women was to help control the kids? I don't know, could be. You know, they're saying now that Gabby Petito was was influenced by a vanner and might have got hooked up with the wrong people. Could have been. She was inspired by a vanner. And you know, I'm wondering because there is reports in a video that I seen on YouTube that someone claimed that there was a young couple arguing before the girls were out there and were killed. So could it have been they were going to, maybe they were fans of a YouTuber or whatever and went out there and got mixed up into something? It's possible. And we really won't know until the evidence comes out. But I did find a couple people that match the young sketch. So that are on YouTube, but yet they did boot scoop boogie out of the country. I don't know, like a month ago or whatever. But we will soon find out. So, yes, the clothes were still damp. The sock was wet. Everything was wet. So, if they crossed that river that day between 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock and succumbed to death, the next day when they found them, their clothes would have still been damp, if not soaking wet. So, I just did the experiment, and the experiment worked. The clothes were still wet and damp. So That would have been evidence that they were submerged in water or crossed the river or whatever. All right, we are still looking though for people that match them two sketches, which it could have been a traffic ring or whatever. They were all connected, even Keegan Klein and everything, and all them. You know, he finds the girls, someone else comes in, kidnaps them, whatever, or does whatever. You know, preps them, grooms them. So it does make sense, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. All right, I'll be back later. I gotta get ready for this snowstorm they got coming. Never ends. Now I'll be back later. And yes, there are a couple people that are on YouTube that fit the identity of the second sketch. Um, we'll just have to see if the police are caught onto it or not. I don't know. I'll be back later. Hasta la vista, baby.